Alright, Marvel Rivals players, let's go over it. We have the stats now for the Rivals meta. What are the worst heroes to the best heroes? Alright, we're kicking off with, no surprise, Black Widow and Jeff at the bottom of the barrel once again. And by the way, this is for Season 2, and this is only counting rank. We also have Emma Frost's stats as well. But I'm actually kind of not surprised that Black Widow is there on the bottom again. But I don't think this character should ever be good. But again, you guys can let me know your thoughts on that. Do you think they should give one season where Black Widow absolutely dominates? And, you know, they said that this game was supposed to be balanced around fun. And I'll be real with you guys, it's probably never fun to play against a Black Widow that is good, especially when it's on the enemy team. But also, if you have a Black Widow that's popping off, like, do you really get to play? Not really, to be honest. So this character and Hawkeye are very dangerous characters to actually buff to the point where they're super meta. Next up though, Jeff the Landshark, no surprise over there. I think certain characters in video games can be easy, and they're just designed to be, you know, good characters for people to try out and play around, mess around with, but then they can evolve or kind of graduate to characters that can be a little bit more impactful, that do require a little bit more skill. But that's kind of something we kind of expect. Now, this is actually very strange. I would have said Winter Soldier was one of the best characters in the game, but his win rate, I mean, this is, stats can't lie, right? This is why I personally prefer making tier lists, but if we are going over tier lists, this is in the bottom of the barrel. Winter Soldier, I don't know why this character has one of the lowest win rates in the game, because this is what it's sorted by. He has a better win rate than Wolverine, which is crazy. Now, what's interesting, though, is Winter Soldier actually did get some nerfs. Now, what this means is maybe they will start to buff him because, well, his win rate is lower than 50%. And majority of hero shooter and just games in general, they want to balance characters to have at least a 45 to 55-ish% win rate. That's at least from what I've gathered in terms of data from lots of different video games. That's kind of where they want majority of the characters to be. When you look at certain characters like 39%, that's where they more than likely will be receiving even more buffs. But like Black Widow's next buff might be like she has no reload or something. Like it's not going to matter in terms of long terms of things, but they may buff her in some other way. But Winter Soldier, I mean, maybe he'll get his nerf changed. Basically has longer cooldown on his like hook, but overall I don't think this character is even bad at all. It's just like there's other characters that people just really enjoy playing, but I don't think he's in a bad spot at all. Also, the ultimate, I think it's like a 5% like difference in terms of like the change on it. Next up, Wolverine. This is a character where like, dude, again, if they want to balance around fun, Wolverine should never be like super OP. I haven't seen him that often in games because it's like, the good Wolverines will always be good for the most part. Just like any video game, there's always some niche, you know, one-trick player that can be really good with the characters. I think what really drags him like down is like a lot of people like Wolverine as a character, especially at the lower ranks, so that can be bringing down the overall win rate of the character. Luna Snow, so big surprise over here as this character is still one of the supports. This and Inviswoman, I think, are like the top tier supports in the game in terms of like impact that you can have. I still think Luna Snow is one of the best supports in the game. Very surprised to see her towards the bottom of the barrel here. Squirrel Girl, this character just turbocharges enemy ultimate charges, and that's kind of why Squirrel Girl is in this like bottom location over here. And then we also have Magneto. He actually received some nerfs over here in the most recent patch. Basically, his ultimate doesn't charge up as fast. He is still one of the best characters in the game. I still think that character is insane. You mix that character and Emma Frost combined, it is massive. Next up, though, we have the Punisher. As far as the Punisher goes, he's just kind of like an all well-rounded hero. He's not like super OP or anything, and this is because he's just kind of one of those easy characters people gravitate towards, but I'm kind of surprised that he actually has a relatively low win rate as well. I would have guessed that that would have been a little bit higher. Moon Knight actually received some buffs, and so as far as it goes, easy much better. Honestly, he gets a little bit more shields, it's a little bit faster. It's like, I would say a 5% to 10% like character overall, like in terms of like stat goes, and it's not a 10% additional win rate, but yeah, very good character. Sometimes against certain matchups, I like playing this character specifically against Loki. I actually have some gameplay over here. I've got the new Moon Knight over here. I started off on Psylocke, and then instantly once I saw the Loki, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go swap and mess around with the new Moon Knight. And I actually found the new Moon Knight to be really good against Loki in general. But yeah, Moon Knight, it's kind of one of those characters that noobs, I would say, gravitate towards, and it's like always the character that people say like takes no skill. I mean, because you're just shooting like a target that doesn't move, right? But I think the character has always been okay. The main problem is that once you climb towards the higher ranks of the game, when you're not moving and you're just trying to hit that specific onk, the Moon Knight's hitbox is just in general really big. His ult, after they did fix it, he became a lot worse because it was bugged before. So overall, I would say that this character doesn't have good value because of the ult, not because like he needed more survivability. His hitbox, while it is technically large, you can kind of get some shields now. But next up, Invis Woman. How do I feel about Invis Woman right now? Now, as far as I'm aware of, she's still like, I would say, one of the better supports in the game. Being on certain maps, you can like push things off, and she's at 47% in terms of the win rate. Same thing as pretty much Hawkeye over here, but no real big changes over there. Star-Lord did receive some nerfs. Star-Lord is doing a little bit less damage on range with his like AoE like Reaper ultimate, but I still think Star-Lord is a fantastic pick overall. Same thing with Cloak and Dagger. I feel like this character is in a pretty good spot. It's just, again, they're like a beginner-friendly hero because the aim on most supports isn't required. Nothing too big over here. Venom didn't really receive anything that makes him like super good. The Thing was already pretty good. Namor actually has a pretty good win rate, and it's because, well, he has the ability with Hulk. It's not as good as being able to slow like you had with Luna before, but the fact that you still get like an extra turret is kind of nice, and if it is uncontested, yeah, it obviously will get damage. I think this character has just been pretty good. It's specifically good with Luna because Luna can damage boost like the ultimate before, but there's other characters like Rocket that can give you damage boost, which Rocket is probably one of the best characters in the game right now. You guys will see from the stats. Psylocke being able to get that clone, I already bumped her up on my tier list. I think the character's still pretty good. It's just the ultimate compared to, again, some of the other ults in the game, like let's say like Storm or Hela ult, it's just not nearly as good. It's like counterable, especially towards the higher ranks of the game. Scarlet Witch received some buffs. I'm really surprised that she has this much of a win rate. Like, this is actually pretty high. Like, if you were to tell me Scarlet Witch is higher on the tier list in terms of win rate, I would have, versus Winter Soldier, I would say you're crazy. She's almost on the same level as what I would still consider one of the best characters at the higher ranks of the game, which is Hela. The reason why is, well, Hela can sit super far away. I think this might just be due to, again, when you combine all of the win rates of lower and higher ranks, I guess at the lower ranks, Scarlet Witch maybe kind of dominates, right? But going into Spider-Man, this is just a really good character overall. If you can execute the abilities at a Morlock, I would say this character, surprisingly at higher ranks, when you do combine one of the best team-up abilities where you get the revive with like Mantis and Star-Lord, that's basically a 75% win rate, which is the highest in the game when you have that team-up available. Really good stuff. Doctor Strange took some nerfs over here as far as that goes. Doctor Strange, I still think he's a good character. I don't think he's like terrible. Black Panther above Doctor Strange is wild to me because it's probably only like the best of the best are playing Black Panther. That's my guess, because like again at lower ranks this character goes like 2 and 10 like feeds and swaps. Groot over here at a lower win rate, which is surprising considering this character gets banned a lot of times, especially at the higher ranks of the games. Emma Frost is actually at a 50% win rate, but I think her kit is amazing. This character is still really good. I'm very surprised that it's not higher, and I wanted to say that like now still a lot of people don't really want to run 222, so at least a lot of times you can at least rely on getting an Emma Frost just because she's a new character. If things may change, who knows? But I think the character is okay for solo tanking, but ideally it's just better to have 2 tanks in majority of comps, man. Human Torch keeps on getting some more buffs. I think the character is okay, but again, nothing good. I even tried it with the buffs. Now he does have another buff where he can dive down to get some shields, but like then you're kind of stuck there. If you don't like get the actual execution, it feels really rough. As far as Loki goes, he got a small nerf. I don't really think he's like, that big of a difference in terms of change. But as far as Iron Fist goes, this character is insane. I was mentioning that in some of the earlier gameplay that I got for you guys when I was doing Season 2 early. The Iron Fist can just hop on you because he's got shorter cooldowns and he has a little bit more damage. Like, it's small micro buffs that eventually add up. Mantis surprisingly got nerfed over here, and I'm kind of surprised to see her also actually had a 51% win rate. I'm actually surprised they did nerf her, but she's still apparently doing pretty good, so she'll probably stay the same. Thor actually got some movement speed increases, which is quite nice. Penny Parker actually at over 50% as well. So both these characters, which are like kind of like my main tanks that I go to, even though they're like more so off tanks, I like these characters a lot. And as far as their buffs go, I think Penny Parker's is pretty decent, but majority of times, even at high ranks in the game, most people will ask you to swap. If you're not absolutely hard carrying, people will ask you to swap immediately. I think kind of the go-to is still going to be kind of the same. I think Magneto, Doctor Strange, Emma Frost are kind of the ideal tanks. Captain America can still be very good. Just like these characters like Magic and Captain America, it's like the really, really good players that play these characters can really hard carry a game, especially with Captain America being able to basically distract the backline. And then Iron Man also got some buffs. He's actually at 53%. Okay, this is actually kind of the news to me, but according to Winrate, the numbers don't lie, right? So as far as Iron Man goes, he has a buff where like when he uses his like not the gambit, like his ability to become more powerful, right, where he gets the extra damage. He gets a little bit of a shield, so that's kind of nice for sure with Iron Man. I'm going to actually give you guys some extra gameplay over here. This was a nice little Star-Lord gameplay. As far as Hulk goes, he did receive some movement speed increases as well, which I think are quite nice because it lets you chase down targets. But overall, I feel like this character, when people play him, I feel like I can just melt him. Like, he's not something that I find to be a pretty big threat at all. Storm over here actually did get a pretty high win rate already. Look at that win rate. It's 53.97, which is pretty dang high. And I think it's because Storm still is a really good character. I don't see her banned very often, though. But again, when you're playing at the higher ranks versus the lower ranks, Hela is just like too much of a threat at the higher ranks that she would get banned. Or if you don't ban Storm, you could just play Hela and then you could just beat the Storm. So I think that it's probably at the lower ranks where this character really excels and it does so much damage, especially because the ultimate is very, very powerful. But with the character in the #1 spot, which you guys will see very soon, you'll see why. Next up, Mr. Fantastic is actually second highest win rate, guys. That is big news to me personally. I would have never believed if you told me Mr. Fantastic was the second highest win rate character in the entire game. And they've been just buffing this character again and again. And I think that this character probably gets pretty good value at the lower ranks. And the reason why the character probably has a very high win rate at the lower ranks is because people attack him. The goal with Mr. Fantastic is supposed to be this like hero, as in like he's not necessarily a tank, he's not necessarily DPS, he's not a support, but he can kind of support the characters, he can kind of peel, he can jump to the characters. And then I think his ultimate, well, I would always want to say it's still pretty lackluster. It has been getting buffed, and you know, it can eliminate certain targets, but if you just ignore this character and you go for the backline, this character is like just bad. That's the way I just personally see him. However, again, if you are consistently hating him, and he's on his like good rotation, it's very difficult for people to actually fully eliminate him, especially if he's got some heals. But because there's not enough people, I would say in general, that want to play tank, and it's kind of just an issue in the game, it does kind of make it so if you have him on your team, like, I don't complain as much because he's actually really not that bad at all. I would have actually said that if the enemy team is attacking him, he's actually one of the better characters in the game, surprisingly, as far as like tanks can go, because he's able to have kind of mobility. He can help your supports a lot better. But now, guys, for the #1 spot, what is the best hero in terms of win rate? It's Rocket Raccoon, man. That ultimate just charges up way too fast. The amount of burst heal, I even mentioned this when I was talking about like how Rocket is actually better with these newer like nerfs, because technically he gets a little bit less healing over like the time, but if you like bounce it correctly, you just get a lot more burst in terms of the healing, because he heals for like 50 or 55 like instantly. That's a huge thing, and if it bounces, you're getting a lot more. The value that you get off of Rocket Raccoon is huge, especially because the amount of effort that's required to play the character at like a higher level. It's pretty much just shooting things, right? You just kind of bounce things. I would say the skill floor for the character is very low. Like the requirements to play this character at a level where you're getting good value by not even being that great is just crazy good, and especially because his ultimate charges up so fast, and you're basically able to keep your team up a lot easier with the newer buffs and changes from Rocket Raccoon. He's actually the #1 character in the game right now, guys. I mean, if we're going by stats. Now, again, if we were to say, like, if I was to make a tier list, would I put him in like the God tier? He actually, for support, can carry pretty dang hard, especially at the lower ranks, but I still would probably say like Hela is the character that can carry. But he's definitely a really good character, and I would definitely put this character at least minimum A tier if I was to make a tier list. But that is the win rates, guys. The numbers can't lie. Let me go ahead and do this so we can do a quick little recap so you guys can see all of like the win rates over here. Keep in mind, I'm playing, by the way, I'm still traveling. I'm at like 200 ping when I'm playing, and I'm still dominating here. But anyways, looking at these win rates here, were you guys surprised by any of like these characters? Because this is from the worst to the best. And I'm really not surprised, like Black Widow, Jeff, Wolverine. I expect these characters to have very low win rates, but I would have not believed you if you told me that Mr. Fantastic, Rocket Raccoon are like the top characters in the game. But that's the meta right now, guys, at least via win rates. Now, obviously, you guys can let me know how you feel about it down below. Do you guys disagree with anything? I mean, these are just raw stats. Again, this is not necessarily a tier list, but this is the best and the worst characters according to how often they're winning. But if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new here, hit subscribe, turn the bell if you guys want to see more, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.